To Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, the under fire Black Stars coach Chris Hughton has unveiled the squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers that the Black Stars will be engaged in against Madagascar and Comoros. The first game coming up on the 17th of November, Friday at the Barbara Sports Stadium. And that's the players that have been called for that qualifier. And the goalkeepers, including Loris Atizigi, Joseph Wallacott, Richard Ofori, Alidu Seidu, Dennis Odoi, Gideon Mensah, Abdul Fattah Hamid of Midyama is in there, Kasim Adams, Nicolas Opoku, and Daniel Amate returns for the Black Stars, and Abdul Mumin also gets his first call-up under Chris Hughton. Baba Idrisu is also in there. Majid Ashimero also returns after picking up some injuries. Now, Abdul Samed Salisu is also in there alongside Mohamed Kudus and the Black Stars captain, Andre Ayew, who is still clubless, returns for the Black Stars after missing out on the October call-up that was done by Chris Hughton. Now, the wingers also in their regular faces: Osman Bukhari, Joseph Pinto, Enes Nyama, Jordan Ayew, and Kamaldeen Suleiman. Kamaldeen Suleiman also making a return to the Black Stars after been out for a series of games. Inaki Williams, Antoine Semenyo, and Jonathan Soa of Midyama all making the cut in the latest Black Stars squad now. However, before the squad was released, news was widespread that the head coach job is one that is uncertain as to whether he will lead the team into the coming up AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast next year. Now, the Ghana Football Association Executive Council, we understand, are the ones who are looking to decide on the future of the Black Stars coach, Chris Hughton. Now, this decision to reconsider the relationship with Hughton was taken following Ghana's feckless performance against Mexico and the USA last month during the international friendlies. Now, we understand the leadership of the football governing body is not convinced that the former Newcastle manager will have a good start to the World Cup 2026 qualifiers against Madagascar and Comoros. And after 7 matches under Hughton, the Black Stars have not been impressive per the Football Association hierarchy. My colleague Muftar Nabila has been following this story closely and has joined me on phone to bring us up to speed on the latest relative to the future of the Black Stars head coach, Chris Hughton. Muftar, thank you so much for making time to join us. The last update we got from you was that the association has made contact with the sports ministry and by extension the government to get an approval to for Chris Hughton to be sacked. What have your sources been telling you? Has the ministry accepted that request by the association, or what is the ministry saying at all?
I can tell you the request has been rejected by the ministry and by extension the government of Ghana. So Chris Hughton is not going anywhere. However, there is still some little bit of uncertainty because in September 2021, when the ministry did not back the decision of the GFA to sack Fifi Manfre, they still held their meeting and fired him. So for now, we cannot say that the GFA might not go ahead to sack Chris Hughton. But from the angle of government, what sources have told me is that the position of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, when the FA first initiated or mooted the idea of sacking Chris Hughton, has not changed. After the game against Central African Republic, that was when they were not convinced that Chris Hughton should be the man to lead the team. After and also after and revived, and in fact, text messages were sent to people, high authority, stating that they want to start company with and just like the story where on my journal online, that request was rejected by the Minister of Youth and
Muftar, I mean, we also, gathering that, I mean, not just about the performance of the Black Stars, but there seems to be a very sour relationship between the head coach and, some, members of the Ghana Football Association. What more can you share with us about that in terms of the seeming,
in fact, prior to the decision of the FA to part company with Chris Hughton, one of the things that, and in fact, you recall the day, that was October 20, when you anchored game plan, where I said that the rumors continue to fly that the FA is trying to impose players on technical team members. And I said that the technical team members should let the FA officials understand that they were hired to make decisions, and if the FA feels that they are good enough to manage the senior national team, then they should take over the coaching job from the coach and do it. You will recall that conversation so well. And it was based on the fact that intel available to us had suggested that there appeared to be some disagreement between the leadership of the FA and Chris Hughton on who should be called up to the senior national team. And this many actually even claim that it is the main reason why there appears to be some cross relationship between the leadership of the Ghana Football Association and that of Chris Hughton. For now, what we do know is that Chris Hughton, as mentioned earlier, is staying at the angle of the government of the country. He's very much aware. In fact, he's very much aware that his future was going to be discussed on Friday. And I could also even mention that the squad that was released earlier today, or just a couple of hours ago, that's what was sent to the FA long ago. And now, what we are made to understand is that tomorrow, Chris Hughton would rather have to speak to the Black Star squad instead and not his future anymore. So yeah, basically that is what we know. Maybe they would find a way to resolve the impasse between the two of them. I recall under CK Akono, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Barry says, called a 3-man meeting. So it was a meeting with himself, CK Akono, and Kate Okweku, where they ironed out their issues. And at this point, I'm not sure they will get to that stage, but if we are going into major qualifiers like the World Cup, to the African Cup of Nations 2023, and the two top men whose decisions impact positively or negatively on the emotions of Ghanaians when it comes to managing football, I think that they should find a way to resolve the issue. So, that's kind of what we can share.
Muftar, thank you very much for joining us. And that's Muftar Nabili, my colleague there, bringing us up to speed on the situation with the Black Stars head coach, Chris Hughton. Well, one of the reasons that were raised by some elements of the association is that it is unlikely, there is little faith that Chris Hughton will be able to get the much-needed win against Madagascar and Comoros in the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Well, he's released the squad, and my colleague Fifi Manfre has been assessing the squad to see if the players are capable of delivering a win. Fifi, thank you very much for joining us on Prime Sports tonight. Tell me, you've seen the squad. Abdul Mumin returns. Likewise, Andrea Ayew. Majida Shemero is also in there. Are these players capable of delivering the results for Chris Hughton?
Yes, I've seen the squad. I've seen the discussion around Coach Chris Hughton and then the squad that have come out. I mean, if I look into the squad, I look at players that have returned into the squad like Majida Shemero. One of our biggest problems when we played a game against Mexico and in the US of A just a few weeks ago was the fact that we lacked progression in the middle of the park. When I see players like Shemero, I get excited in that regard. Also, the inclusion of someone like Abdul Mumin is exciting for me because when he went to Real Valladolid, I did mention that he's one of the best players that we can get on and off the ball for the defensive qualities that he has. Also, you recall that most of our centre-backs have had issues in recent times. Salisu is recovering from an injury. Jiku is recovering from an injury. The last time we played, the Celta Vigo man, Joseph Ido, did take an injury and all of those stuff. So we need to show up the quality that we have in our defense. And Abdul Mumin is more than quality, more than enough quality to get and slot into the back for the Ghana Black Stars and get a job done. If we have Amate returning, it means that we are going to be getting some experience later on when you are going into the AFCON and whatnot. So moment is very important to join the squad. For our captain, Andrew Ayew, I mean, you listen to the quarters that say that the coach may be sacked and whatnot. They mentioned the fact that the 2 games against Madagascar and the World Cup qualifying games are very crucial. Andrew Ayew, whilst he may not play so much of an important role on the field of play, will be important in the psyche of the players. He will be important in the off-the-field dynamics of the team. And I think that's important. A lot of people may disagree, but I think that that's important. Hence, the inclusion of Andrew Ayew is important. And I do think that with Chris Hughton and this squad, we have enough firepower to get the job done.
Well, just look at the attack. Inaki Williams has struggled. Of course, we've seen Fatau of Mediama. He scored 3 goals so far this season in the Ghana Premier League. Antoine Semenyo also hasn't exactly been firing for Bournemouth this season. Goals is the big challenge for Chris Hughton. When you look at that attack, is there any hope that we can get goals against Comoros and Madagascar?
Yes, I do. I do think that that attack has some goals in there. Yes, you did mention about the fact that Antoine Semenyo particularly doesn't score a lot of goals for his club side, Bournemouth, and even for the national team when he comes. I mean, given the number of games that he has played. Inaki Williams is still waiting to open his account to the Black Stars. It's something else for him. But anytime he goes to Athletic Bilbao, he gets the goals in there. If you look at someone like Antoine Semenyo for one, I will look just beyond the goals. His contribution to the team for the Black Stars and for Bournemouth in the English Premier League goes beyond just the goals. For me, he is an excellent leader of the press. And if you say that we're going to play against the Madagascar and other teams here at the Babaya Sports Stadium, then it means that we need to be very, very progressive. We need to be front-footed. We need to press very high. And Antoine Semenyo gives that energy, that ability to press and lead the lines in terms of winning the ball back. He did same in the last time we played here at the Babaya Sports Stadium. He won the ball off when we needed a goal so bad to lay off the ball, and then we're able to get that goal from Nuama. So it's important that he is in our team. For Inaki Williams, I just think that it is just going to take some time for him to get that telepathic relationship between the midfielders of the team and himself, for them to know his runs and what's not. I mean, there's somebody that was born and grown in the Basque region of Spain. He's so much different from how we do our things. And I think that these 2 players are quality enough in the Black Stars to get us some goals to qualify for the World Cup in 26.
Fifi, let's be quite definitive here. Is a win against Comoros and Madagascar possible for Chris Hughton? Because it looks like his job clearly is on the line and a win is inevitable.
Well, I wouldn't put a win past Comoros and Madagascar past Chris Hughton. And I think that any decision to sack the coach now, as it stands now, will be a bizarre one.
Fifi, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. And of course, we look forward to what happens in that game coming up next week, Friday. Of course, Trust Joy Sports will bring you update on all of it. But let's talk about Thomas Partey now, because he could be set for a major time out on the field. We understand Thomas Partey could be ruled out for much longer than expected for Arsenal. And Partey has been missing for the last few weeks and was expected to be back in time for the run-up and including festive fixtures for Arsenal. However, according to report from England local media, Partey could actually be missing out for longer with a return in January of 2024 not being ruled out. Now, the Ghana midfielder has suffered a number of injury problems since signing for Arsenal from Atletico Madrid. Mikel Arteta has been unable to use Partey alongside Declan Rice as much he'd like this season. Partey's injury could well force Arsenal into the market in January, as there has also been speculation over his future, with clubs in Italy set to be keen on him. That's fascinating. An opportunity to listen to 2 of football greatest have a conversation. My name is Razak Musbao, and thank you for being part of Prime Sports. We'll be back sometime tomorrow at 9 PM Express.